Good Wednesday morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. It's amazing how fast 24 hours can pass by, isn't it? It is. It flew by before I knew what happened. I hope your morning is going well. We've got so much to talk about today. We've got a hurricane that is getting ready to come into the coast of Florida. It's coming in higher than expected, a Category 4. We've got details on all of that in a moment. Today's high, not as bad. We're expecting it to be right at 90. It's a break. No mention of huge heat indexes either. Can you believe that? It's bad when we think 90 feels good. But that's the case this morning of what we've got. We'll give you all the details on that. Also coming up at 7 with Scotty Ray and Odie, murder. Happened right here in Lauderdale County. We'll tell you more about what happened, robberies that went on overnight. I guess you could call it things that go thump in the night. We've got all the details coming up at 7 o'clock. I hope you'll join us for all the details, so you'll know. Plus, big election last night. I hope your candidate won. We'll discuss all of that beginning also at 7 o'clock with the morning show. All right, let's get things rolling here as we head out to First Baptist, Collinsville. Let's get a good message there from Brother Ben.
Have you ever been so frustrated or so discouraged or so hurt or tired that you couldn't even bring yourself to utter the words of prayer to God? All you could do was growl or weep and moan. Well, guess what? The Bible says in Romans 8 that even in those moments of weakness, God heard that prayer through the power of the Holy Spirit. We read in Romans 8, 26 and 27. Likewise, the Spirit helps us in our weakness, for we do not know what to pray for as we ought, but the Spirit Himself intercedes for us with groanings too deep for words. And He searches hearts, knowing what is in the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for the saints according to the will of God. So, beloved, even when you can't express with your mouth or mind what you're feeling in your heart, the Holy Spirit knows. It perfectly knows. And then works to intercede before the Father for us like a lawyer pleading our case. That's why the Bible calls Him our advocate. When you are at a loss for words, your groans and tears and moans are enough. God perfectly understands what you're asking for. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Good morning, Juanice. Good to see you watching us there. Miss Beverly is up. So Buddy, Blue Mo, Mississippi, salute. So glad to see y'all stirring and getting at it. Elmer, Miss Jean. Oh, there's Richard joining in as well. It is a rise and shine kind of moment there, Lamar. Hope everybody can do that. And again, as I said, let's think about our friends in Florida. Odds are you know someone or have family. Let's look at what we've got here. Let's go to Meridian Honda radar as we pulled this up this morning. This is a Cat 4 that is getting ready to slam in. Here's Madison, Florida right there. And as we look at this, let's zoom in here of actually where this will come in at. This is Keaton Beach, Florida, is where the bullseye is, where it will come ashore a little bit later. Now, as we look at this, we pull this up, we show that it's a Hurricane 4, wind speeds of 132 miles an hour. Wind gusts with this are already at 161 miles an hour. Pressures at 940 millibars, moving north-northeast at 18 miles an hour. And again, if you track this, this is going to come across. It's still a Category 2 when it reaches Waycross, Georgia. If you've ever been through Waycross, I have, through Savannah and follows the coastline and then cuts back out at Georgetown and goes back out into the ocean is what we're looking at Friday, and just kind of twists and goes on. This is very strong. It's going to hurt people. We all know that. Category 4, they do not play. Most of all, we need folks to take care of themselves in prayer. It's going to be rough. We'll be here to follow the storms that comes about. We don't know how blessed we were in our area for this not to come ashore on the Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana Gulf Coast. It took that right turn and went away from us. So we've got more of your weather coming up in a minute. We'll look at all of that. So what's happening across America as we look at this? This is awful as we talk about Florida. A rescue helicopter crashed late Monday afternoon as they were going in flight to help somebody. It broke apart and fell. An investigation is underway. And I, for one, Odie, you ever been in a helicopter?
I love a helicopter.
You like a helicopter? I've never been in one. I've been in airplanes. They don't bother me. I don't think a helicopter would bother me, but I also think of T-Roy, Montgomery Gentry. He went up and won, and you remember it came down. Where an airplane could glide if there's a problem and you stand a chance, a helicopter is, I guess, like you say, like a hunk of lead falling from the air. But people love them, even Odie. We'll shake that out of him. I never watched this. Anybody out there big fans of HBO? I honestly hadn't flipped across it. We may even have it on our channels at home, and I just haven't been there. But a TV show that they've invented called The Idol, they're canceling it after a year. That tells us one thing. It wasn't much good and didn't get much ratings, is what we're seeing out of that. As often as I come up short for words, if you're married to someone and you don't like them, the best thing to do is go see Judge Judy and get a divorce. Your life will go on. You may be a little upset, heartbroken for a little while, but you both walk away. Not the case with the dentist. Are y'all staying up with this? He's finally entered a plea deal. They've caught him red-handed. Slowly poisoned his wife, her protein shakes. Murder. Seriously, if you don't like someone, leave. Go for a pack of cigarettes in the middle of the night and don't come back. You don't have to hurt anyone. This has been an ongoing thing. He's made a plea deal, first-degree murder there. Happened in March. I don't understand things that go on in this world. If y'all were paying close attention to the things going on with Trump, there was one man that was behind bars. He's finally gotten out. He's finally got a bond set, $100,000. Harrison Floyd, he was charged with racketeering, conspiracy, influencing a witness. He turned himself in last Thursday. He's finally got a bond. Sat there for quite a few days. The Proud Boys, and I honestly don't know much about these guys at all. But I do know that several were arrested, and the leader they're looking at, sentencing is coming. He's probably going to have the largest sentence of anyone so far. We wait to see what happens. This is going to probably move forward today as this comes about. I've been on airplanes to where you get into a little bit of a turbulence, and it'll bounce like that every once in a while. You get into some rough clouds and things that cause all of that. But I've never been on one to where I actually was almost thrown out of my seat or anything. Well, it happened near Atlanta as they were getting ready to land. 11 people were rushed to the hospital. I've seen video of it where it literally threw them out of their chair up into the air. It was like a space flight. Awful. Let's hope everybody recovers pretty well on that. That's when that buckling up comes into play. Already lawsuits are flying in Hawaii. Victims, they've already contacted a lawyer near you that one call, that's all, as they're going to be suing the power companies over the fire that happened. They seem to think that the power companies had something to do with it. We'll watch that case and let you know what becomes of that also.
The power company did take responsibility.
They did. They have taken responsibility. Lawsuits are coming, and it will be costly. We hate it all the way around. A 16-year-old fatally stabbed in Washington, D.C. Why? And as I mentioned, if you don't like somebody, leave. If you disagree with someone, you can have words and walk away. And we'll talk about what happened in Meridian last night. But it was a dispute over sauce in the parking lot. She was stabbed and killed over sauce. It worries me where we're headed, and I think most people would agree with me. At least in our area, they do. Your upbringing. But, and I have to say this, let me back up from that. There's good people all across this United States. I traveled a lot with a job I once had, and in every town there's good people. There's also some bad ones. But overall, America, they're quiet now. Where used to, truth, justice, and the American way stood up, is somehow or another taking a back seat to those who are louder, meaner. And as Americans, we've let them get away with it. And that's where we are, in my opinion. What's that squeaky wheel thing? Yeah. They do that constantly every day. The American people, they're still there. They're good-hearted and they're patriots. You just don't see them as much anymore. They're kind of beaten down, worn down, but they're there. What will make the return of the patriot? I'm not sure. We'll watch it. Coming up next, we're going to get into your forecast to let you know exactly what's going on this morning.
The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built-in, are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group.
And welcome back. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. As we get this day started, let's get into our weather forecast now to get that exact situation, what's going to be going on.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
As we look at our days gone by, back in 2104, 75 and 05. It was a warm day there for it to be that warm. As we look at today's forecast, we'll see that we got 90 to 91 mostly through Philadelphia, Meridian, and westward into Newton. Even seeing 93 in the Hattiesburg area. Natchez usually has been warmer. Well, they're at 92. So it's a cool day. And what do we see up in the North Mississippi area? Some 80-degree weather. That's shocking here at the end of August. As we move across to the Bama line, we see that Demopolis will have 89 today, even to Tuscaloosa hitting those 80s. Birmingham, a cool 85. They're going to think it's wintertime. Swear it's January over there. As we look at wildfire conditions today, we cannot take this too serious. It is bad where we are. Significant threat, red flag area is what we've got. We've got all of that posted for your information. As you'll see here, no burning, Lauderdale County, any of these areas. Elevated when you get into level 2, but level 3 where we are and southward and over to the Mississippi Delta, don't do it. Be bad. Don't thump any cigarettes. Don't do anything. As we look to tomorrow, it's still a level 2 for the Meridian area, level 1 for Neshoba County and Kemper and those areas northward in those areas there. It's bad. We've got to have a lot more rain before we can get into, well, cooling things down. So don't be burning boxes or anything. It's tempting, I know. You've got a pile of trash. You want to take care of it, but not yet. As we look at this hot front. Is that the way to word that? Probably not, but out to our west is hot. For lack of better words, we would just call it hot, hot, and hotter. That's your stages there, 3 of them there, making its way toward Mississippi and Louisiana. Our 7-day outlook doesn't have us much more than the mid-90s, as we see that today is 91. As the weekend rolls, look at this, we get chances of rain bringing the low, or high rather, on Saturday to 88. Now, we've got a 40% chance of rain on Friday, 30% Saturday, and then it starts decreasing Sunday and into the work week as temperatures will start to climb back up next Tuesday, back up to 94 as we get out of the low 90 era. We don't want it, do we? What's this we see as we spy 7 days out further, all the way to September the 13th, we start seeing upper 90s again, 97, 98. It's not triple digits, but that's still going to be warm once you factor in all of that heat. Yep, we'll watch that also. Here's the nastygram that we have for you today. As we get into what's going on with the National Hurricane Center, we got a Cat 4 that is getting ready to slam into Florida today, 132 miles an hour, wind gust of over 160. Those millibars at 940 there as we glance at this. Now, Franklin is a Category 2 at 109, not going to hurt anybody. It's going to skirt and take a right-hand turn. We've got formed here, 11, moving at 35 miles an hour, and a 60% chance of another storm that is just off the coast of Africa. Now, there's lots to see. This is our biggest threat here to the Gulf that we have. And deep in Florida, they're going to get slammed, and it's going to be bad. They're preparing now, trying to get sandbags in order and take care of the people. If you've got family there, check on them. It may be a little too late to get out at this point if you have not already left. As we go to our best fishing times today, and we're getting near the end of the month. Tomorrow will be it. We see that we've got a north wind 5 to 10 today, but gusty is going to be kind of hard to fish with 20-mile-an-hour gusts. It'll take your lure and put it in Neshoba County if you're out at Lake Oteebee today. Our best fishing time is going to be right at lunchtime to about 2 p.m. and then again tonight after dark. So lunchtime is it. And again, since we're into the only 90 for a high, it might not be too bad to go fishing. I'll check with Chet and get his thumbs up or thumbs down on it. But again, very, very windy. Now, as I mentioned a moment ago, don't miss out on this morning show. We've had a robbery overnight and we've had a murder, number 7. in the city limits of Meridian. We're going to talk about all of that, of what's going on this morning, give you the behind the scene details of what we know. As you were fast asleep last night, this all happened. And I guess you could say nothing good comes out after midnight. And that's about when all that went down. We got the details coming up. Plus the election last night. Did your candidate win? Odie and I headed off to the Lauderdale County Courthouse. We had a bunch of runoffs up in Neshoba County as well. We'll look at all of that. It's on the way as we begin this early Wednesday. And I'll let him tell you what day it is when he gets in. All on the way here at the Scotty Ray Report.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: